Okay, we're recording.
No, I think I might poo.
That's the best intro. Okay. Nathan just tried to fart to commence the podcast, and he could that comment. I think I might poo. Oh, okay, the new.
Okay, I don't know either. Ken. I don't know Ken.
All right. Oh, that was an accident.
All right. Welcome to the podcast.
Welcome to Laser Ducks.
Laser Ducks.
I am Laser.
And I am Ducks.
And they are the Ducks. I guess.
I am Ducks, but he's Nathan.
Yeah, it's
Laser Ducks and Nathan.
It's me, Isaiah Beams, or Isaiah Warlock.
Daniel P.
Daniel P.
Big P. And then
Nathan C.
Nathan C. Nathan.
Is that what we're doing? All right.
Cuthers.
Okay. So, can we get a bit closer as well?
Yeah. This episode, talking about
A few things.
Yes.
Well, no. This episode we're talking about one thing.
one thing.
Okay. So the last episode or the last few episodes might have been a bit confusing because that's super loud. Daniel's trying to eat some cookies and the rapper's like louder than my voice.
Okay.
Okay, the last episode or episodes might have been confusing because we thought we were going to do a bunch of topics per episode, but now we're doing one topic per episode. Anyways, we're wasting time. Okay, because we've already gone like a minute, 30 seconds. Okay, let's jump right in. Our topic for right now, this episode.
Doing about science. Yeah.
This is a sciencey topic, sort of. We're talking about flat earthers. The idea of the flat earth, the idea of the globe. What are we rooting for? Whose team are we on?
Who do you think is right?
And the people that argue that the first one. You just hear Daniel chewing in the background. Okay.
It's interesting because like within the last couple of weeks, days even, we've had the story of the guy making his own rocket.
Yes.
To go up.
What's his name? Mad something.
California man. Going
California
up into.
man.
Not Florida man. California
not
man.
Florida man this time. It was a California man.
But he's gone up
That's
in his own homemade rocket, and it has not gone too well for him. And it's always sad to see people, perish in their own kind of silliness. But what's his name?
Mad Mike Hughes passed away.
Mad Mike Hughes, big Mike Hughes.
So this guy was a very prominent flat earther who had the plan of making his own rocket, flying up into space, and seeing the Earth to show people that it was flat.
But they weren't actually sure what his results were going to be once he started taking photos. They weren't sure whether it was going to be flat or not.
Yeah, and it would have been really good because he would have gone up and he would have seen that it was not flat, and then all these flat earthers would have been converted. And it would have been a good thing for science and for humanity.
I mean, we were just saying that, like, there's an extent to which a few people probably would have turned with him, like his closest followers.
Not everybody, because people would say that he was.
He was with NASA or whatever. The liars, they're all. So it's people are always going to be stuck in their own tracks.
It would have had an effect, I think.
Yeah, for sure. I think a few people would have come around.
But anywho,
it was just
it's a steam rocket. It was a steam rocket.
What?
Which I don't know. I think as far as rockets, you want to go fire, not steam.
I think so. Oh my days, this guy. Oh. It's so horrible because it's hilarious, but at the same time he died. But we just watched the video a second ago, and he just goes up, and then his parachute accidentally launches,
the parachute comes out not on purpose and just puts the whole thing off trajectory.
And then he just curves around and hits the ground basically, and it is horrible, but. I mean, what do you expect when you're making your own rocket? Like, I mean, people can barely make their own, like, anything. Like, trying to put your own, like,
but he's made
pizza
several.
oven together.
I think he had made several, and they were working well.
Oh, putting stuff up.
And he was like an engineer. Like, he's not just some
rando.
Like,
I mean, even like you have to be. That's what I had in my mind. You have to be a rocket scientist, though. People always use that as like the like expression of like a really smart
science. Well, it is rocket science, Mike.
Exactly, and I don't think he was a rocket scientist.
And I'm sure you realize the gravity of the situation.
Oh.
But still,
Oh yeah, no, I do.
Well, he's dead, so we wouldn't joke about it.
He definitely got the reality of the situation. Definitely crashed down on him.
That's not good.
Oh, sorry, you got me into.
He's dead. So condolences to Mike.
Yeah, Mad Mike.
Mike's family.
Moving on. The other thing, very interesting thing with flat Earth, is the whole idea of the ice ring on the outside. I've always found that kind of
Yes.
interesting.
So-
because that would be fun.
What we should do is we should talk about, explain to people who don't really know what we're talking about. What do these flat earthers think, and what
Sure.
are their arguments, and what are the counter arguments? Because you think that's the silliest thing you've ever heard.
But
the Earth
there
being
are
flat.
people, yeah.
There are tons, thousands, maybe millions of people who are flat earthers.
I hope not.
And scientists and professors who are flat earthers, and they've got good arguments. Not the best, because they're not. It's not true. At the end of the day, they don't win the arguments against the top scientists. Like,
But they're trying.
yeah, it's not like they're just a bunch of morons. Like, they have some relatively reasonable arguments, but still, then it's
So I think the idea is...
reason and research is not on their side.
Yeah, no, exactly. Well, like, yeah, years of satellite data and all that kind of nonsense. But
Yeah.
their main argument, I think, is just that their idea is that the world is not a sphere; it's a disc,
Yep.
and that they don't believe that the planets are also discs, do they?
No,
There's
I don't know what they
Is
think
there
about
very
planets.
much continuity?
They
on
think
that?
about they don't think space is the way we think it is. They don't think it's like
Ah.
infinite. They think it's just like a smaller space with like small little objects. Like it's basically what people used to think. Like whatever.
And they also think there's like a
1,000 years
dome
ago.
around the flat
Yes.
surface.
Yeah. So what
That
basically
makes
So like the
stars
Earth does still
curve.
have like an atmosphere.
Yeah. So
This.
they don't believe in gravity, because if they believed in gravity, a disk would collapse on itself and form a sphere. Because if you have gravity, everything in space turns
So
into
what
a
are they
sphere.
saying?
Yeah.
So
Because
they
it pulls things towards
yeah.
it.
So they don't believe in gravity, because if they did, it would destroy their whole thing.
But do
So-
they not just believe in gravity that's just going straight down instead of like
they
to
do.
the center?
They do.
But that
They believe in
doesn't-
Newton's laws. So
Okay.
they think the disk is flying up in space forever.
Oh, and then we're just
So
hitting
we're
it.
all being pushed down against it.
Very, very interesting.
Yeah. So they think that
But then that would. Oh, all right.
they think there's a ring of ice.
So everything
around.
is falling, in the same way that we believe everything is spinning. They believe everything is falling because, like,
No,
obviously all the
every-
stars and
everything's
things would be
moving up.
changing. Sorry, moving up.
straight up forever. It's super fast.
Well, no, I thought everything would be. If the Earth is, I get no, yeah, it's moving up and we're.
I mean,
going
sure,
down.
the Earth can be
Whatever.
falling and we can be upside down on the Earth. It doesn't. It's space, so it's just like
Direction gets a bit silly.
yeah. But so they think there's a dome of some kind of energy force field around the disk on top of it, and it's moving straight up, and there's an ice disk around the edge so the water and stuff doesn't fall out.
And then
so-
there's some who believe that beyond that ice disk is more land that we don't know about that the government or the like that
yeah,
the
that's
what-
argued about.
Also
They
heard-
argue about that.
That there's like a thing in the Antarctica that you can't go past a certain point.
Yeah.
And they believe that that's because they know if we go too far they would see the edge, and it's like a conspiracy kind of thing.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny. So they think Antarctica is the ice disk, but I think if you go like they think if you go on into Antarctica, how many countries have territory in Antarctica? Like 12 countries.
Yeah, loads.
And that's why they're like, oh, all these countries are banding together to keep people out of there, so they don't find the edge.
Yeah.
But I mean,
My sister's in Antarctica right now.
oh really?
Yeah.
She's going to the edge.
Yeah, and she hasn't found the edge yet, so I think it's all right.
Crazy. But like also like I'm just thinking about like it's hard enough to like work on a school project with like 4 people.
Yeah.
Eventually one of the countries would just like let some information go loose and suddenly everybody knows that the earth is actually flat. Like no one's like
Yeah.
governments are
And
already
what
terrible
do the
at what they're
governments
doing.
have it in? Like, why would they hide it?
They don't have anything to gain from that.
Yeah, exactly. There's no logic to
They come in and say, okay, so a lot of flat earthers are Christians.
Yeah, that I mean
Pretty much 100% of flat earthers are like young Earth creationists, and they're conservative Christians, of course.
yeah, I mean you could say that about literally anything these days. It's like most racists. So
Oh yeah,
like
but not
Christians.
Of course, not most Christians are flat earthers.
No, most
But
flat earthers
pretty
are
much
Christians.
all flat earthers are Christians. I don't know if there's any atheist flat earthers, because then you really have nothing. But they're saying it's the devil, deceiving kind of stuff. That's all tied in
yeah,
with it.
yeah, yeah.
It's not just governments.
Why would he? I guess the idea must be that there's something better beyond it. Or but what about the people who just say that it's ice and then space? What would the devil like? How would that help? What once we all work it out, we're going to be enlightened or something?
They talk about it just being like so that the government has more control over people if they control what they think.
Well, I mean, here's another Bible verse to rebuke that. Like we're supposed to trust the people who are put in leadership over us,
Yeah.
and so they're like completely going against that, right? It's like God has ordained the leaders.
Yeah.
So it's like, why? I mean, that's just that.
Pretty much
people
all
just pick what they want to
conspiracy-
hear, and then
pretty much all like Christian conspiracy theorists. There's
there's always
things in
something
the
wrong.
Bible that go against what they're saying.
And like a small like half a word that goes with it, right? It's like,
I mean, the things there are things in the Bible that go with flat Earth. There's a lot of things in the Bible that go with.
like
go
that
with
it's
flat
a
Earth.
circle, but again, that doesn't really.
There's there are several things.
We don't know
Well,
what
that
that
could be
means.
lost in translation, like
That too.
circle,
Yeah.
sphere. I mean,
And they didn't really have a word for sphere
Yeah,
back
they're
in the
coming
day because
in
they didn't
Greek
have
They didn't know what a
spheres.
sphere was.
Or need to know because they never
yeah,
used spheres.
But the word circle, when describing the Earth,
Could mean-
in Hebrew is circle. It's like a flat circle you draw in like the sand.
But like they
they
didn't
wouldn't
have the
know.
tools to make a sphere.
plus they probably did think that's what it was back then.
Yeah,
because it doesn't.
I know.
matter.
But of course, if you're coming at it from that the Bible is inerrant, right? If
Oh,
you're
yeah,
coming at it
it's-
from
it-
it's a
it-
science textbook.
Well, it's not a science.
Exactly.
Like that's
But if you're
ridiculous.
yeah, but a lot of these kinds of people, young Earth
Yeah.
creationists, conservative Christians, they're looking at it from that lens. Like every single word is completely accurate to the point of like
No, because
like
it's,
scientific stuff.
although it's the word of God, it's still was written
Cultural.
by humans.
Yeah.
Who were in a culture who it wasn't. Yeah.
And that's just
And, like,
that's absolutely undeniable. I mean, it's not undeniable. You can deny it, but and you can deny anything. Yeah, you can deny
like the Earth is a sphere. You
yeah,
can
exactly. You can-
definitely
you can
deny
deny
that.
that, but it's like so it's so silly.
Yeah, I mean, you're using it in the
Like I
wrong
said,
way,
you shouldn't be
and that's the
control.
thing that I hate about this kind of stuff is it just makes these like it makes Christians look bad.
Yeah.
Because they're just being stupid, and that's probably the worst part of all this kind of stuff. It's the same with, yeah, whatever. Don't want to get
Okay.
too
Racist
deep into that.
Christians and all that.
Let's get back more into the actual idea of this flat Earth.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Well,
for-
Nathan's saying that it'd be great if it was true. It would be.
He wants it to be. I'd like that as well.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool. I mean, I don't think it is, but it'd be cool to see all these people getting proven wrong.
It would be so cool because it's always fun to be in a little group where you know something and
Yeah.
and you feel like you know something that other people don't know. So that's always fun. It's like a cool little fairy tale story if that's what it is, but we just know that that's not the case.
Yeah, and like we were just saying, like the guy, there's like people, like proper scientists working on this, and I bet like what was going through their head is like, if I'm right, I've changed the world. Like everybody's gonna respect me forever. And in the same way that like when Isaac Newton worked out gravity, created gravity. No, when he worked out like how gravity worked and like all the calculations for the planets and things, he changed the world. I'm sure he didn't actually realize, but I'm sure people are looking at Isaac Newton and being like, oh, like I'm working out the calculations for a different kind of gravity and a different kind of all this stuff, so that yeah, one day I'll be just as great and as famous as big Newton himself.
So they have some of their arguments are good, but like you can they'll like these people will go out to like a place where you can see two cities on the horizon, and they'll be like, oh, these cities are a certain amount of miles apart, which theoretically at that distance you can see the curve of the Earth. But a lot of what that stuff is, it's not about how far things in the horizon are apart, it's how high up you are. If you get high enough up, you can see the curve of the Earth. People put GoPros on like little like water bottle rockets that they shoot up into the sky, and you can see the curve of the Earth.
Yeah.
It's and then they'll claim that all that stuff is because of the shape of the lens of the camera that it makes the Earth look curved. Like,
Yeah, I mean, it's just I was having a talk with someone the other day, and I stopped the conversation because I was like, "We're never gonna get anywhere. We're never gonna get anywhere in this argument, in this conversation, because you believe what you believe so strongly, and I believe what I believe quite strongly as well. That it's both of us are just gonna be like, oh well, that information is false and it's faulty, right? It's like you're always gonna be able to, especially in an age where it's like editing stuff easy. Like anyone, any like 10-year-old can edit a photo in their bedroom, and if they get good enough, right? It's just like you could make the Earth look flat easily, or the
that's
other
what-
way.
Yeah, that's what they're saying is that it's all fake. And like to a certain extent, you can be arguing with somebody, and they can be like, okay, well that's fake, and you're like, okay, how about this research I did, and it's like, oh, that's fake. Yeah, you can keep saying that's fake,
And it just gets boring.
You can't really argue with somebody if they just keep saying, well, that's fake, that's fake.
It stops
sure,
being an argument, really. It's just
And, like,
a one-sided stupidity.
but it's just like and then one of the main things is there's no reason to fake any of that. You're not going to gain anything from that.
Yeah, true.
They talk about NASA, how NASA makes millions of dollars a year, so that's why they want to keep it a secret.
So does like everyone.
Yeah, but NASA doesn't even make that much money, and it goes back into the research. Like they're not like they're trying to make money.
Yeah, like SpaceX and Tesla are these like companies that are doing good things are also making money
Yeah.
so that they can make more
But,
good things happen.
But of course, SpaceX and Tesla make money. But like NASA, how do they make
Works
money?
for the government,
selling like
yeah.
NASA T-shirts. I've got a NASA T-shirt. Am I funding the devil's
How
lie
dare
on
you.
the planet? Yeah.
No, and it's like, I don't know. So like all these other things that make like whatever. Lots of people make a lot of money, and no one's going around saying McDonald's is a lie. Burgers
Yeah.
aren't real. They're hiding like real burgers from us because they're making money. It's like they're just making money because that's how you survive in this
I
way.
think here's what we should do. If any flat earthers are listening, we should present our argument for them. We should argue
Yeah.
with them.
I don't know much. You actually have like you've thought about this a lot more than I have. The only argument that I could think of is just like I don't know, trusting a little bit more in the government and like society. But you've got some actual scientific stuff that we've talked about before.
Sure. You can dig a hole straight down. You can dig a hole straight down into the earth. This is kind of hard to do without like drawing it for you, but I'll try to explain it with my mouth. You can dig a hole straight down in the earth, and then dig another hole straight down in the earth. You know, very pretty thin holes, but they have to be perfectly straight down. People do this test. People did this test. Who did this test? Like the guy, what's the guy who invented the triangle thing?
Which triangle thing?
The
Pythagoras.
Pythagoras, yeah. He did this. I think he
Yeah.
was the first one to do this. You can dig a hole straight down like a well. I think he used a well, but you can just dig a hole perfectly straight down into the earth and then go, who knows, a mile away or even shorter than that and dig another hole. If the earth is flat,
The light would hit the bottom of both holes at the same
yeah.
time.
I'm getting confused because when I draw it, I can explain this more. When the earth is curved, the light will only hit the bottom of one of them at a time. If it was flat and the sun is as big, of course the sun is more than 1 mile in diameter. So the sun would go over both holes if they're a mile apart, and they would shine straight down to the bottom of both holes at the same time. But you cannot have that happen in real life because of the curvature. It's curved so that you can only have sun straight down to the bottom of a really deep well or a hole. You can only have it in one of them at a time because the earth is curved, so it goes over one of them, then goes over the curvature and goes into the other one. You can't have them both at the same time, and you can do that. Anybody can do that with the proper equipment. You can do that test in your backyard, not in your backyard if you have a big enough backyard, and there's other things like that. People do tests with lasers and there's pictures of like I guess it's electricity lines or like oil. I don't know what it is, but like these I think it is electricity, but like kind of like electricity things that like poles.
Yeah.
There's pictures, and you can go to places where this is of these things coming that are in the ocean, and they go off into the horizon, and you can see them curving over the horizon. You can see them curving, and flat earthers will be like.
Crazy.
Flat earthers will like line something up on a table, like line up salt shakers on a table and show you from a certain angle, and they'll be like, yeah, it curves down because it like goes down because of the perspective. But yeah, it goes down in a perfectly straight line. That's perspective.
It's like-
but if it curves,
Yeah, it's different.
that's not perspective. That's the Earth curving. And you can go to these places all over the world where there's anything lined up that goes into the horizon on the ocean or something, and you can see that. Like anybody can just go there and see it. If you think the pictures are fake, that's fine, but go there and look at it with your eyes.
Yeah. And then there's nothing that you can say against it. It's you've seen
And they
it.
still have their arguments like that, like when they line something up, like this guy in a video lined water bottles something up on a table and put his camera at a certain angle and compared it to the picture of these power lines going out into the ocean and was like, look, it's like the same thing, but it's completely different. It's not curved if it's just perspective.
Yeah, it's just up and down.
Yeah. Anyways, if you guys have any final thoughts to add.
Good to go.
All right. Well, thanks for listening to this episode of Laser Ducks.
It's been a pleasure to have you in
Don't
the
forget
living
to-
room with us.
Yes, don't forget to subscribe or follow or
Like
whatever
or,
platform you're listening to this on. Go
or
check us out.
donate. If you want to donate, please. T-shirts. I need
So buy our t-shirt. We haven't made any yet, but we'll make some soon. Yeah, whatever platform this is on, don't forget to subscribe or follow or whatever on this platform. Check out the other platforms. We're on all platforms at this point if you're listening to this.
Hopefully,
At this point, if when you're listening to this.
in 5 years' time.
All right. Thank you, guys. Laser Ducks.
Little ducks,
Roll
ducklings. Yeah, laser ducks roll out.
That's the outro.